Hello and welcome to this weekly trading bias for Euro USD for the week beginning November 17th to 22. A very quick review of the events of the past week shows that the bulls came back into the game, as you can see from this weekly chart. Instead of a bearish continuation that we projected in the past week, the bulls actually returned, forming a bullish engulfing pattern, which is a bullish reversal. And obviously, based on this pattern formed here, we are expecting Euro USD to be bullish this week, but there is a very slight deviation from the COT report which we got. The COT report we got in the past for the week of November 12th shows in a very negative open interest of 23,388, and if you see on the non-commercial side of the report, you will see that the change in commitments from November 5 shows a less negative value, for the short positions held against more negative value of 17,212 for long positions. That's on the non-commercial side. But on the commercial side, we have a very wide negative value of 31,733 against long of 3,925. But overall total, we still have more negative bearish and less negative bullish, but the open interest is negative, which actually is still pointing to a bearish bias based on the COT reports. So based on that, we might see a situation that Euro USD might still push further down, perhaps to retest the low of the ultimate week at 1.3295 before it finally, if it can, pulls back up to push price up on a bullish, in agreement with the bullish reversal pattern cited in the past week. Okay, so based on that, we'll be working out trading for entering into the market on the following key levels. Now I'm going to be using first another bias on the US dollar index. Of course, this we have a dark cloud cover here, which is a very strong reversal, bearish reversal pattern. So whatever happens there, and the market has opened, having closed at 80.81, it opened at 80.82. So I will be seeing this pushing price further up, and perhaps a retest of both the open and the high of the past week. All right, might now see the dollar index coming down, and then based on that, euro will start rising. So we might see a Euro USD that will really touch a rock bottom price, compared to last week. It may even go below the low of last week. But then we'll keep our fingers crossed until we sight our spike lows. Now we'll be watching the following key levels based on the pivot points, Fibonacci retracements, and of course trend lines. Now on the Camarilla pivot points, we have a buy level at 1.3452, which tends to agree with what we have with the floor pivot point at 1.3449. Okay, now that's an intersection there. Now with a Fibonacci retracement on 4 hours, let me switch to a 4-hour time frame. Good. Now we will be having something like this. First, now in the short term, we can work with the rise from the low of last week up to the high of last week. That's 1. We can also work again with the low of the 2 weeks ago up to the high of last week, also making it 2. And then based on that, I have 50% retracement. That's based on the low of 2 weeks ago at 1.3400, and we have 61.8 retracement at 3375 for this week. The low of last week, 50%. Sorry, the low of 2 weeks ago to the high of last week at 1.3545. We have a 50% retracement at 1.3400 and 61.8 at 1.3375. Now, while for the based on the low of last week to the high of last week, we'll be looking at 38% at around 1. That is 1.3444, okay, which tends to cross with the 3449 and 3452 levels, and then around the 38.2 retracement of the low of 2 weeks ago and the high of last week. We also have the 50% retracement of last week around there. Let me just remove this and show you. I delete it. You can see around the same level you have 1.3425. so 1.3425 tends to be strong, and that is where we have the max 3420. all right, so we are going to be looking at price action around here. That is when we have a spike low at any of these levels. Let me bring back this Fibonacci retracement from this 2 weeks ago up to this point. So when we see price action here forming a spike low around 1.3444 1.3425, very strong, and then 1.3406 to 3400. So around here we will be. So there's an intersection of last week's Fibonacci retracement levels and that of 2 weeks ago, based on their lows up to the high of last week. So we will be watching out there for buy entry, and then also 1.3375. that is if price pushes below the low of last week. Okay, now again we are going to be also looking at long-term overview of the market of Euro USD. Here's the high for 3813. That's the high for some 3 weeks back. From 3 weeks back, 1.3817. I think that's the high there. Okay, good. Now, based on the fall from that place to the low of last week, based on the fall from last of that particular 3 weeks ago, that's October, last week of October to the first week of November, we'll be looking at also around the 38% retracement of that place is around 1.3494. So a price having been rejected at 1.3505 in the past week and opening for this new week at 3497, okay, we might see by the time this 4 hour period closes, if it shows a dark cloud cover as we are seeing it here, or a bearish reversal pattern, obviously there might be a retest of 3505, 3494. So a sell may take place here. So what we just need is a spike high around here, and selling may pick up from here, and that may push price to any of these low levels. But whereby we don't find any spike high around here and price breaks above them, then we might see price coming to test the 50% retracement of the fall from 1.3817 at 1.3556, and around that level there's something I'll quickly do here. Let's look at Fibonacci expansion for the two Fibonacci levels we have plotted. Okay, now let's look at, based on the rise from here, Fibonacci expansion up to 1.3505. Fibonacci expansion is at first is 1.8 at 1.3523, while the second 100% is at 3.585. Okay, good. So which is in between the retracement level of the fall from 3817 to 1.3295. That's in between that and the 50% and the 61.8 retracement of at 1.3618. So we have to watch out carefully for this. But then a watch on this particular candlestick, 4 hour candlestick, is very, very crucial to what happens on Monday. Okay, good. Now based on that, we are going to be looking at a possible sell around 34942 to 3505. There was a rejection there on Friday. So this Monday we might look at possibly selling around there. But where we don't see a spike high, that's a bearish reversal pattern, then we will still watch and see whether it's going to be bullish continuation that may take price to go and test 1.3523, which is Fibonacci expansion 61.8, and then perhaps going to test 50% retracement of the fall from 3817 at 1.3556. Okay, now where these have happened and then price comes down, or whether or not they happen rather, and price comes down, we'll be looking at buying at 1.3444, 1.3425, 1.340623, and 3400 levels, and possibly 1.3375. So these are the key levels to keep a watch around these key levels. Also, checking up with the trend lines. Let me just switch to this other 4 hours time frame. Now, picking up the trend lines, I'm going to do something again. Switch to the weekly time frame, and then from here I'll pick my trend line. And with my trend line, I'm going to be looking at this connection from here to here. Okay, and then I'll connect also from here. I'll be forming a triangle there. Okay, good. So then, and I switch to daily time frame, and on my daily time frame I have something else to connect from here to here. Okay, so we'll be looking at what price is it here. We have 1.3334, depending on when that happens, and then of course here 3353. all right, now on the 4 hours time frame, now on 4 hours I'm going to also be working with something like this. I connect from here all the way to here. Okay, so we'll be looking at what price there, 34493450, which kind of has an intersection with the Camarilla pivots and the floor pivot points areas. All right, then from this side, the bearish trend line, we have let me make a connection from here to the high of last week. All right, so there is this breakout that needs to occur here, the breakout of this region here, this zone here. So here within this range, we can call it neutral until price breaks out either to the top or it breaks below here to then come and test any of these places. So, and also I can also make another connection from here, okay, to here. All right, so we've got this sorted out here, and so based on that, let me see if I can create a channel here. That will be an up channel linking up to these two. Good. So we have it sorted out right here. So we will be looking at things happening here. Of course, if we have these 4 hours closing on a bearish note and then forming a bearish reversal pattern, of course a sell can be initiated around this place. So you watch out for it. If you are watching this early enough this Monday, you might just sell around there, but if you meet it late, you may have to watch out for the other key levels that we have pointed out. All right, so let's just go ahead and see what happens. I wish you a wonderful week. So just keep a watch at this and trusting 3 trades may come up here for buying and perhaps 1 or 2 trades for selling, and I trust it will be a winning week for us. But please watch out for the fundamentals also, though they might not be really very strong fundamentals this week, but still watch the economic calendar and make brighter and more profitable trading decisions. I am trusting that you will trade to win this week, and as you do, just make sure you make and keep those profits. My name is Ifeanyi from nairaforgold.net, and I wish you a wonderful trading week ahead. God bless you.